What's up, brilliant people? Jill here. And yes, we're doing math again, but I promise it won't hurt. Here at Jill Tutors, we're making math simple. Don't forget, when you practice a little, you stress a lot less. Today, let's tackle solving systems of equations with substitution. I would give today's lesson a difficulty rating of medium to medium hard. Before we jump in, you should already be comfortable with solving two-step equations and solving equations with x and y. If that sounds good, then you're ready. But if not, feel free to pause this video and come back. I even have a short that you can watch on solving two-step equations. Maybe after watching that one, you can come back and watch this one. Okay, so what is a system of equations? It's just two equations that have the same variables, and we're trying to figure out the values of x and y that make both of the equations true. So think of it like this. Let's say that we had two equations, x plus y equals 10 and x is equal to 4. We could just take that 4 and plug it into the first equation, right? And if we had 4 plus y is equal to 10, you could figure out what y is, right? If you're thinking 6, you've already got it. And that's what we're doing in today's lesson with substitution. We just have equations that are a little more complicated. Let's work on this problem. Y is equal to 2x plus 1 and x plus y is equal to 7. It's just like the problem that we had before. And I love when problems look like this because y is already isolated and by itself, so I have less work to do. So what I'm going to do is take what they told me y was, which is 2x plus 1, and I'm going to plug it in right here for my y. So now I need to write a new problem. I have x plus, but instead of y, I'm going to write 2x plus 1 equals 7. And now I'm just using my knowledge of solving equations to continue. The first thing I would do is combine my like terms. So because those both have a variable of x, I can put them together. And I know that that would give me 3x. And I still have plus 1 is equal to 7. Then I want to isolate my variable. So I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides. And I will have 3x is equal to 6. And then in my last step, I want to get rid of that coefficient. I want x to be by itself completely. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. And I find out that x is equal to 2. Now, I'm going to take that information and I'm going to plug it into one of my original equations to find out what y is. Now, it's a lot easier to plug it into this equation than it is to plug it into this equation. So that's what I'm going to do. So I found out that x is equal to 2. So 2 plus y is equal to 7. We know what the answer is, but we're going to use our algebra to solve it by subtracting 2 on both sides, and we'll find out that y is equal to 5. When we write that as a coordinate, that'll be 2, 5. But before we submit that as our final answer, we want to double check that we've done it correctly. So let's plug it into the first equation and see if both sides are balanced. So remember, this is my x, and this is my y. So I'm going to plug the 2 in wherever I see x, and the 5 in wherever I see y. So I have 5 is equal to 2 times 2 plus 1. 5 is equal to 4 plus 1. 5 is equal to 5. That's true. Now we've technically already checked the second equation, so now that we know it works in both equations, we can be confident that we've got the right answer. In our last system of equations, y was isolated. So in this one, let's isolate x, meaning I want x to be by itself. So what I'm going to do is in that second equation, because it's a little simpler, I'm just going to subtract y on both sides. So now I have x is equal to 5 minus y, or in the way that you might most naturally see it in your algebra class, x is equal to negative y plus 5. Now we are going to take that information and we are going to plug it in to the other equation. Remember, we don't want to plug an equation into itself. We have to plug it into a different equation. So anywhere I see x, I'm going to put negative y plus 5. 4 times negative y plus 5 minus 2y equals 8. Now, one mistake that I see students make sometimes is they forget that they're substituting and then they have two variables. If you have two variables in your equation after you've substituted, you know that something went wrong and you probably need to go back and check your substitution. Because once we've substituted, I should only have one variable and then I can solve for that one variable. Let's start doing that here. The first thing I would do is distribute the 4 times those numbers inside the parentheses. So then I would have negative 4y plus 20 minus 2y is equal to 8. Now, before I start moving things to another side of the equation, I'm always going to look for like terms. Do you see them? Negative 4y and negative 2y. And I'm going to combine my like terms by putting them together with the operations there. So I would basically have negative 4y minus 2y, which would give me negative 6y. I didn't do anything with this 20, so he stays where he is, and that 8 stays on the other side of the equal sign. Now, let's undo the plus 20. So we'll subtract 20 on both sides of my equation. And if you've got it from here, feel free to pause and keep going. See if we get the same thing in the end. Now I have negative 6y is equal to negative 12. And my last step would be dividing by negative 6 on both sides. I have found out that y is equal to 2. Now, what do you think I should do with that? I'm going to plug it into one of these equations to solve for x. Now, which equation you plug it into is completely up to you. You could plug it in right here. I would be careful with that though, because that's an equation that you manipulated. And like I said, we could have made a mistake. So I always like to plug in my answers when I've solved for one of my variables into an original equation. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to plug it in right there. X plus y, which we have found out is 2, is equal to 5. And even though I know you're big brained, we're going to use algebra to figure out what x is by subtracting 2 on both sides. And we found out that x is equal to 3. And our final step is to plug it into the other equation to make sure that it works in both of our equations. So wherever I see an x, I'm going to put the number 3, and wherever I see a y, I'm going to put the number 2. So 4 times 3 minus 2 times 2 is equal to 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 2 times 2 is 4. So minus 4 is equal to 8. 8 is equal to 8. That is a true statement. So I can finalize my coordinates x comma y, 3 comma 2. We've solved the system of equations. Not so scary, right? If this still feels tricky, that's okay. Rewatch, pause, and practice. Keep going. Future you will thank you. Remember, when you practice a little, you stress a lot less. And if this video helped, make sure you send it to a friend who might also be struggling, because we're all in this together and we never gatekeep math tips. Like and subscribe for more. Until next time, love always, your math teacher, Jo.